Hello, Monica. Welcome to the Make Life Rich movement. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
I love that this is your first podcast. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much for trusting us and sharing your story.
Of course, this should be fun.
Yes, it will absolutely be fun. We are very excited to have Monica on as a guest today. She is absolutely someone that is going to have you taking maybe a deeper consideration into what your wellness rituals are. And I'm very excited for us to be focusing on hair and scalp rituals specifically, which are some of the main products that Monica has in her very own Ayurvedic beauty line that she had created, along with help from her family farm in India, which I love so much. I can't wait to talk about that. So I just love everything about your brand. Shout out to Alex, your publicist, who has set this up. She sent your website my way, and I was just, you're speaking my language, blown away by the care and the attention and the detail that went into not only your product, but the consideration for why you created your company. And I just knew we'd have a beautiful conversation today. So thank you for coming on, and thank you for creating your business, your oil, which you were so kind to send. Beautiful,
Yes.
guys. We're going to talk all about the products, but thank you.
No, of course. And I really appreciate you opening up this platform for founders like myself and other people to really speak, their truth about their story.
It's absolutely necessary. I think we forget about the people behind the business sometimes, and you are just as equally a part of your business as are your products. I love so much that you have a childhood kind of based in getting to really see the beauty of nature at work. Can you tell us about your time that you would spend in India with family and, kind of what it meant to you to be around like all that spectacle of nature and just richness and beauty?
Of course. So, a big part of my story with my brand Asna, it has to do a lot with my upbringing, right? Being basically born and raised between the US and India. So during the summer breaks, my parents would send my sister and I to India. So we spent a good amount of time in Bombay, Delhi, and Punjab. And we have a very big family. My dad's number 6 out of 8, so that's lots of fun. And we really got to spend time and really understand the richness of, our culture and our traditions and our values and speaking the language and really blending in like that day-to-day activities being there and then bringing them back with us when we're here in the US. So when it comes to food, when it comes to rituals, when it comes to jokes, when it comes to, just the remedies of life that are practiced there, versus here was really eye-opening. And you kind of learn that the more older and more mature you get in life, and you kind of take it for granted when you're younger because you don't realize how beneficial it is because it becomes somewhat norm to you, or you're like, oh, they do it there, but we do it here. It may not work. It may work. So, having the blend of both worlds and actually being a part of and spending time in India and bringing those practices here has been very much a blessing in disguise in so many ways. And I tell my parents, we're like, thank you for allowing us to have that. Because I remember during the summers, it was like, we want to spend more time with our friends here in the US. And they're like, you have to go back at least for a couple of we usually do 2 months there and then came back. So, but now we are very much appreciate it in so many ways.
It's such as you said, a blessing, and so beautiful that your parents not only maybe out of necessity, needed also time to do what parents need to do and get your lives together and do all the things. But I just really find it so beautiful that something that you were given the gift of time by your parents to go over there has in essence shaped your complete life, the way that you spend your days, the way you make your money. Like there's so much that seems to have been influenced in you within that time. And I'm sure as a child, you're thinking about the things you're missing, but simultaneously you still have to be in awe and wonderment of the things that you are presently doing and getting to do with your family members. I wonder, was there ever a time in your adult life where you're like, gosh, I want to go live there for 2 months in the summer now? Like, what do you get to look back
Absolutely.
on the freedom that you had in that regard and be like, oh man, I'd really Our
Of
trade places right
course.
now.
You know what? It will always be home to me. That's the thing. So when I go there, it feels very much home. So I never feel disconnected from it. And a big part of that is family, and it's a big part of, the memories that I had as a child. I really recreate that every time I go back, in so many ways. So it's very much home to me.
And as you said, you got to bring rituals with you and different things that do kind of keep you tied to home in that manner. I love so much that in your time living in the United States, you did feel that deep disconnect between the Ayurvedic practices and some of the products that you had access to when you were visiting home versus what was here. I have always tried to be a very healthy, clean person. My father had cancer for the majority of my life, so it's always been top of mind to like kind of think about what you're putting in and on your body. And the concept of Ayurvedic medicine and wellness wasn't something I really fully understood until I had worked for a raw pharmaceutical company from India that really cracked my head wide open on the incredible amount of sustainable herbal remedies and flower-based, plant-based recipes and things that they have relied on for thousands of years that they were kind of just cultivating and bringing into the modern age in different supplements and things that they were making. But the practice itself I found to be fascinating because it seemed as though everyone within that culture led their life with these thoughts in mind. It was as if it was a very beautiful guiding principle to not only keep yourself healthy, but to keep your soul and everything just like in check. And I was really taken back by how much of that lacks here. And I just learned about the concept. So I wonder what that was like for you growing up as a child. Was it difficult to kind of wrestle between this very unhealthy world and the other world that you knew that was so based in nature and understanding of how we're supposed to align with that?
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of people don't even know what Ayurveda is. So I think first and foremost, Ayurveda is a holistic healing system originated in India 5,000 years ago, right? And the whole focus of Ayurveda is really about balance, right? Balancing your mind, body, and spirit. And that's through, diet, it's through yoga, it's through meditation, it's through herbal remedies and natural practices. And all of that has just been a part of my upbringing. So I really and it's funny because growing up, then the term Ayurveda was resonating more to me because it was so normal to me, like Indian chai. They have all these spices in it, and it's an Ayurvedic remedy for us that we've been having as a child, not labeling it as anything, because it becomes a part of your lifestyle when it comes to certain Indian foods as well. And creating that balance has always been, especially being in the Western world in the US, it's you tend to kind of learn how to create that balance, and that's what Ayurveda is all about. Obviously there's times, listen, there's that's why it's called balance. You indulge for sure in what you want to indulge in, but it's all about balance, and that's why Ayurveda is not like, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. It's really about really what works with you, because just like products, just like medicine, just like skincare, or like everything doesn't work for everyone. And that's very much what Ayurveda is. And, there's the term Ayurveda is Ayurveda, but generally it's a practice in life that people probably currently still practice and have no idea that they're practicing. And products like, the products that I have, and there's so many other Ayurvedic products out there, it's really about what really works for you, and I think that's the key. Because just like any medicine or any vitamin, it really works individually for each person. And, particularly for my brand, what I've created, it's a balanced product so it can work for everyone, male or female. And that's what, when you search and seek for Ayurvedic products or holistic, clean products, you really need to turn it around and see what's in there. And you need to make sure it actually is an Ayurvedic product and it actually works for you.
So what qualifies a product as an Ayurvedic product?
So it has to be a clean product for sure, and an Ayurvedic product really, again, going back to what I was saying, has to be a holistic product. So certain herbs and remedies work hand in hand, certain of them don't. It's all about balance. So when you create an Ayurvedic product, it has to be very much balanced in terms of the benefits that are, going to be result oriented for that product. So the reason why it's called holistic healing system is because you need to make sure all those ingredients are really resulting in resolving into an issue that you need to, overcome. So it could be, even mentally, Ayurveda, like yoga, right? For example, Ayurveda is a big part of yoga. Yoga is so healing in so many ways, right? And Ayurveda in terms of chais, Ayurveda when it comes to vitamins or skin or hair care, it all has to be beneficial and very targeted to why you're using it.
I love that there has to almost be an intention while it's created and an intention for your usage.
Absolutely.
It seems very connected in that way. That like soup to nuts, everything is in one system that's like symbiotically working together.
Exactly. And it's all about practice. It's all about ritual. When we say practice and rituals in Ayurveda, you really live it because you have to live it. And you have to live it to see results. And I think that's the thing. You can't just pop in a pill or pour oil in your hair or do a practice once or twice. You have to be consistent. And consistency is so much the key when it comes to natural ingredients and quality ingredients and Ayurveda for sure.
I also love that just the simple act of needing to do it over and over again while present does truly make it a ritual for you. Like,
For
I
sure.
think we really
Yeah.
rush through getting ready, especially for women. It's like we were mocked for wanting self-care and giving ourselves these routines, and then, now we're expected to get back into them and be present again. It's like, guys, just get over the trends. Enjoy doing your hair care routine. Enjoy doing your skincare routine. Enjoy making your smoothie in the morning. Enjoy drinking your tea. This is what life is about, and these are actual moments of your life you won't get back. Like, I've tried to
Absolutely.
stretch myself as far as enjoying doing the dishes every day because I do want to enjoy every moment of my life. I hate
Sure.
doing the dishes. Like, deeply, I feel my face start to go down. I'm like, nope, smile.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
love cleaning these dishes. We're grateful to be alive to be cleaning dishes. So clean those dishes. But I do, I was so drawn to your literally fulfilling the issue that you had for yourself, which was not finding enough products that were in balance with what you needed them for, what you wanted them for.
Mhm.
Also, let's be honest, guys, anything made in the United States of America, high likelihood, unless it came from a farm and a clean farm, that it's not healthy for you. It's not the best. And it's likely causing more harm than good. So you'll keep buying what it's supposed to fix. That's kind of how these things work. Having seen it from the back end myself in the pharmaceutical industry, I can tell you, you don't want to really believe a lot that you read from gigantic companies out there. But where was the moment for you where you decided, I'm tired of looking, I'm going to start making? Because I think that pivotal moment for every entrepreneur happens at that exact frame where they know they're tired of pussyfooting around. It's time to do something about it. And I love hearing that creation story. So what was that time frame for you like? And then kind of what were your first steps?
Yeah, so it was actually during COVID when the city was shutting down. I was like, perfect, I can hair oil. So then I actually went to a couple of clean beauty stores here in New York City to look for amla oil, right? And amla oil is so common in South Asia, right? In India, in every household, they have amla oil. So when I went, I first of all could not find amla oil, and if I could find it, there was only one or two products that were there that were super diluted with other oils, and it wasn't pure. And obviously, I've been using clean, organic, cold press amla oil since I was a child. And funny enough, I actually usually have the oil at my house. So I just, because I get it from India. And I was out. So that's the reason why I had to kind of seek it. Otherwise, I have it. And I was actually pretty surprised about and shocked, to be one, that there's not a lot of amla oil out there in the market. Two is that the amla oil that you can find is not clean, not pure, and actually not two, one more, three is that the Ayurvedic products when I was looking for Ayurvedic oils weren't actually Ayurvedic. Just putting a term on there doesn't make it Ayurvedic. But unfortunately, consumers don't know that, so you can't blame them, right? You really need to trust the brand. You really need to trust the story. You really need to believe in it to really, and you really need to understand, what these products do for you. And that's when it was a kind of like a light bulb moment. I'm like, wait. I'm like, I have the resource of providing this oil that I've used to other people like myself, right, that are seeking, amla oil, or consumers that have no idea about the power of this oil. And I think it would be a great idea to introduce it to the market because people need to know about this. And that's how I started my idea. It started during COVID. And it was also very a moment in my life that I was like, deep down inside, I knew I was always going to be an entrepreneur, but I need to be passionate. I need to have clarity about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And that was the time that I was like, all right, Monica, let's get the ball rolling.
So beautiful. I love so much that it happened during that time frame. You're probably the 30th or 35th maybe entrepreneur that I've interviewed over the last year, and I'm so drawn to these companies and these products and what they're doing.
Yeah.
And every time I'm not surprised. I'm like, aha, your inner knowing came to you in this time and was like, come on, let's stretch it, let's do something else, this is boring, like, we're safe, we're gonna be okay, we're gonna get through this, but like, we
Yeah.
can't sit here and not make something by the end of this, so let's get to work. And I love that that came for you. And it honestly, I'll say I've never heard of amla berry. I've heard Indian gooseberry. Or is that the same? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But I
yeah.
hadn't heard of it on that scale. I just knew of the plant and the fruit. I had no idea about the oil and what could be done with it. So I do feel very surprised that until literally a week ago when I read your press kit, that I'd never really heard about this oil before. So, can you tell us why it was the primary oil that your family chose? I'm sorry, the tree rather that your family chose to grow on their farm, and is this an ingredient that's been really steadfast within the Ayurvedic lineage of the last 5,000 years?
Absolutely. So a lot of people don't even know, going back to what you're saying, or what amla is. I feel like it's such a new fruit to the U.S. especially, but it's this little berry right here, right? And this little berry is also known as gooseberry fruit, as you say, and it's super concentrated with vitamin C, antioxidants, and it's really it's known to be in Ayurveda a magical berry. Like it's called a superfruit for a reason because it's so powerful. It's so packed with nutrients. One little berry has triple the amount of vitamin C than 8 oranges. So it's so concentrated, with vitamin C. And vitamin C is like, people, I feel like, this day and age, vitamin C here, vitamin C, when it comes to oranges or et cetera, all these fruits that we do get vitamin C from, but this fruit particularly is so packed full of it, and the importance of vitamin C, especially for hair health and hair growth, is that when you put amla, and on your scalp, and also on your beard, it creates collagen, and you need collagen for natural hair growth. So, one thing hearing about vitamin C, but also really understanding what it does for your scalp and your hair. And in India, it's been used for centuries, like forever. And this fruit alone, like people pickle it, right? Like people use it in so many other ways. People eat it in Indian, like they make it in Indian dishes. So there's so many ways to actually utilize it in your lifestyle. But generally speaking, amla hair oil is something that South Asians have been using for so long, and it's so nice that people are embracing this powerful fruit, and really are exploring it and trying it and actually are seeing results because it is shown in generations Ayurveda. And it's really humbling that people are actually using it and experiencing it. But I think the key is you need to, like any other oils or any other products, you need to actually get the cleanest and the purest, because that's where all the vitamins and all the benefits are, rather than getting the diluted version. So you really need to look into what you're purchasing. And that's a big part of why when I created, this oil, it was very much aligned to obviously what my family has been using forever, but also making sure that it's very consumer friendly here in the US.
It's definitely, I think, something that has, over the last 5 years or so, felt like using oil on the scalp is something more American consumers, I think, are starting to adopt. I had started oiling my scalp when working for this company. Two of the she was my Masi. I loved her. She was so enjoyable and wonderful of a soul. I'm so happy I got to work with her for the time that I did. The company, not so much, but she very much impacted my life in many ways, shared a lot of stuff with me. And the hair oiling was like the very first thing that she was like, no, my love, no. Stop. We need to help your hair. She actually did it for me to show me how to do it. And at the time, it was going against everything American media and hair wanted you to think. You put oil on your roots, it's going to create more oil, and then you're going to just be a dirty little grease trap for the rest of the day, and you're going to... No, guys, your scalp absorbs it because it's in desperate need of it. It's crying out for it. It wants it so badly, you have no idea. You're going to need more than you think. 2, you're going to wake up the next day if you let it stay in overnight. And you can either go about your day and it's fantastic, or you could wash your hair, and then you're going to have the most baby soft roots of your life because your hair is doing what it's supposed to do, which is being able to naturally re-oil itself because you took care of the ground level. Your scalp can't grow healthy hair if your scalp is not healthy. Could you please give us a little bit of a further breakdown on why we need to start caring for our scalps and why our scalps are so integral to not only just our hair,
Sure.
but our health in general?
So it's pretty simple. It starts from your roots, right? So just like a plant, you really need to nurture it. You need to put water on it. You need to take care of it. You need to put sunlight, for it to grow. And to grow, and you have to nourish it. So very simple concept, right? So you just similar to your hair, and you need to really, really take care of it. And it starts from your roots. You putting oil on your ends won't make a difference. You have to start from your roots down, right? It makes a huge difference. And even, when it comes to like eyebrows or beard, it's like very similar concept. You really need to nurture it. And again, consistency is the key because it's a natural product, right? It's not like you putting chemicals in your hair and then it's going to rejuvenate how they create it to rejuvenate, right? This is a natural product. You need to be patient just the way when you water a plant. Just like in life, when you nurture yourself, right? You need to be patient when it comes to changes, and so very similar concept. And again, the key is you really need to give your body, your scalp, your follicles, the correct clean products, right? Like it's just like a plant. It's gonna absorb. It's like a sponge. It's gonna absorb what you're gonna give it. Right? And that's how our humans are in general, how our souls are, that's how we are created. And similar concept with our pores, right? So you need to really treat your follicles just like your skin in so many ways because it's an extension of your skin. And even when it comes to beard health, similar concept. So it's really nurturing and really giving the correct, treatment that it needs. And I think going back to what I'm saying, the more cleaner, the more better. So that's why it's being very mindful about what you're using. And I feel like now finally, the consumers are turning our food products around and seeing what they're eating. They're turning around our skincare, hair care, like lotions, like vitamins. They're actually really looking into things like that because people are concerned now, and they should be, and we have a right to because it's our body. Right? So when creating this brand, I really kept that in mind. You have to be so transparent because you need to trust the brand that you are purchasing the product from.
It's so integral. vulnerability of just having to assume that the company on the other end is thinking of your well-being will be harder to find, guys, in those larger stores. But with smaller boutique makers like Monica and so many others out there in the makeup department, and there are very subtle ways that you can implement these changes without them being scary and overwhelming or expensive. I think a
Absolutely.
beautiful place to start outside of what you brush your teeth with every day and what you swish in your mouthwash every day, a really impactful place to start is going to be your hair and your scalp. If you live in a large city, you're collecting more pollutants and more heavy metals and just nastiness in the air than you actually imagine. And your scalp is a direct gateway to your bloodstream. If you do not have the ability to detox that scalp and to get it spick and span, you're eventually going to absorb whatever debris is there in your bloodstream. And um, it's really important that you, at the very least, are not adding more to that when you get in the shower to wash your hair by using something that isn't clean, that isn't balanced, that isn't made for the purpose of giving your body the ability to do what it's always done, which is gently cleanse
Absolutely.
itself. I would love to hear so much about your actual shampoo, conditioner. What was that process like for you in kind of creating them, and what is the user going to feel in terms of the wash
Yeah.
itself? Because I think when people are first transitioning over to newer hair care that's clean, they're used to the surfactants and the SLS and all the disgusting stuff that gives you the bubbles for days. Guys, the bubbles are bad for you. You want a different hair care experience here. So can you just break down for us what your shampoo and conditioner are like and what
Yeah.
that process was like for you in making them?
Yeah, so when it comes to hair oiling, for sure, I think what tends to happen, people are like, oh, my hair is greasy. It's oil, right? So your hair is going to be oily, right? But there's a difference between oily and then being actually greasy, right? So it's like, especially with our oil, a little goes a long way. So you don't have to douse your hair with tons of oil. And once you oil your hair, what's the second step? You have to shampoo it, right? And what tends to happen, people are like, oh, I shampoo my hair and it's still greasy, or oh, like, like it's like my hair's flat now. Like you hear all these things because people are not used to hair oiling, one, and two, they don't know the process, how to remove it properly as well, and using the right shampoo and conditioner to remove that. And remove it in a way not to completely take out all the oil and strip it, but you need to have a balanced shampoo conditioner as well to remove the oil. So when I was actually creating, the shampoo and conditioner, that is something very much I kept in mind, because you need to, when you do rinse the oil out of your hair, first of all, it needs to rinse out, right? So our shampoo definitely allows that oil to rinse out completely, but also leaving very a hydrated, essential jasmine scent at the end of it. And the key of it is like, and you can use a shampoo with one go. Sometimes you can use a shampoo a little bit more to rinse your hair twice, but generally speaking, by using it once, it removes all the oils. So that you actually applied, that the oil that's necessary to remove. The oils that are on your scalp will stay on your scalp, but everything else is removed. So other shampoo conditioners that you may purchase don't work hand in hand. So that's why it's harder to remove the oils in your hair, right? It's hard to get that finished look that you're looking for, because that oil doesn't work hand in hand with the product. So when I created the shampoo conditioner, that was very much in mind. I need to make sure that the consumer will have an easier, seamless process of removing the oil, because it's so important for aftercare and how your hair is going to look afterwards. So and it was a fun process as well. I think that's one thing people tend to forget, is that when you are creating a product line, you need to have fun with it. You need to embrace it. You need to really explore and get different opinions and trial and error. You can do clinical trials, absolutely, but you need to be real about asking people that will give you the full honest truth, right, and transparency of it. So it was really fun doing it, and it's great that people have embraced it in so many ways as well.
It's absolutely something that once you try it, you don't want to stop doing it. That's for certain. It feels delicious.
Right. Yeah.
There's nothing more luxurious than doing an oil treatment on your scalp, having a cup of tea, and just being in comfy clothes. Like that to me is just a beautiful way to spend the tail end of winter. I love it so much. Not that, I mean, I do it all of the time, but I do very much just see someone doing it for the first time really being like, oh, okay, this is like perfect for Netflix time. This is perfect
Yeah.
for, going to the gym. Like, there's so many ways to work it into your routine in a way that's going to be enjoyable for you. And as you said, you do want to live your life while doing these things and not have something feel like a detriment. But I love so much that you kind of knew that your American consumer was going to be one clueless about rinsing out an oil. So you formulated it in a manner that would work with, whatever drugstore brand they may be working with. But
So, yeah.
it feels one very gratuitous of you for you have taken that measure of like putting in that much more effort to formulate and make sure that what you're getting is exactly what this uneducated consumer is going to be able to jump right into using, become a fan of, and then learn more with. I wonder, when you were creating your brand around the products, how deeply did you want to get into giving your consumer, the full like tutelage of your upbringing on this farm and like kind of what these products mean to you? I love that you state farm to bottle. It's so telling of not only like how clean of a product it begins and ends as, but the true care that is being taken on your family's farm to create this final product that you get to then put directly into a bottle.
Yeah, it's basically the inspiration of the brand in so many ways. And it's not only my family farm. We work with other sustainable farms in India, family other farms. So that's also very something really important, because each single berry that's picked, it's picked from hand, right? And it's created by hand. So it's a really, really big part of who we are. That's why it's so important for us at Asna is to deliver a product that's truly true and it's truly from the root, and that's always been the key. The story is from the root of who I am, right? And it's not only who I am. Like, this story probably resonates with so many of the South Asians, because South Asians have been oiling their hair for so long. And it's so great that, now people are embracing it and want to learn and want to experience it. If it's not my brand, there's so many other brands that are doing that. And it's so great that people are actually, exploring it. Because before, it was so different. And it was so, like, I remember I used to go to school with hair oil in my hair, and I was like, your hair is greasy. And I'm just like, my mom put it in my hair. I had no choice. But I'm so thankful. And again, think about it. We've been doing it since we were kids. We had so much hair when we were kids. When you're a kid, generally, you have so much hair, right? But still, our parents and our grandparents put it on your hair because it's a ritual, right? And over time, all these years, we've been doing it. And by doing it, it really, really, becomes a part of us, and it benefits us in so many ways. And it's just very, it's a very blessing to share my story, and people are embracing it. So going back to what you were saying, my journey, it starts from my roots. This brand starts from my roots and my family story, and our the oil that it comes from my family farm and other sustainable farms in India. So it's very much the heart of who we are, for sure.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It literally just got me to realize that everything that we think of food tastes delicious when it's made with love.
Yeah.
99% of the things in your house right now, to those that are listening, that came in a bottle that you're going to use on your body, I can guarantee you was made with the opposite of love.
Yeah.
For your products to be, okay, someone is watering that tree, they love that tree, they love being outside in nature, they love their job. Someone picked that berry, they treasured it, they saw that it was ripe, it was ready to go into the pile. You got moved along the line and taken to a place where it's going to be fresh squeezed to press out
Hmm.
the oils. Someone gets to do that. Someone gets to feel it when it first comes out. Like that connectivity to an actual soul on the other end, putting intention and purpose and their daily joy of their own rituals into what they're doing just gave me like head to toe goosebumps. The pure giving, like the pure in the true sense of intention. Like it is a pure product. It was made respectfully and lovingly along every step and then ends up on your door for you to be able to use. Like, guys, that chain of supply and command doesn't exist. It
Yeah.
does
Yep.
not exist. And it only exists in this capacity of a boutique operation where someone whose heart and soul and roots are embedded in knowing that that still exists and it is a source that she can pull from and bring out. Like, this is an amazing company, a beautiful
Thank
product,
you.
but I want everyone to pause for a second and really think about how this is your true purpose in life right now. Like, it's
Yeah.
killing me. I'm trying not to sob right now, but
No,
it's
it's so,
so, it makes me think of like when you were a little girl running through these fields with your mom and your mom explaining to you what these berries are and this farm and this life. Like, could you ever fathom that you'd be now like a grown woman making your family's like legacy spread far and wide and other family farms? Like, it just,
yeah. No,
it's
it's
so
just,
beautiful. It's
no,
so
thank
beautiful.
you. I really appreciate it. It's, I think, I'm a person that I do believe in things happen for a reason. And it's so funny. I would never, ever have thought that I would be, creating a brand that's super connected to something that I thought was very simple that I've been doing as a child. And it's been so great. It's been so much fun. And as a founder, you kind of, through the process, you're learning, right? And you're creating. And like, you're with your team and you're hearing their thoughts and their stuff. And my parents are very much part of it too. I'm like, what do you think, mom? What do you think, dad? Because you need to make sure you are still rooted in that. If it starts from that, you need to still have that, right? And I think and one thing I do really believe in is really do it your way. Like that's very much our mantra. You really need to be authentic to who you are and who your brand is. You know, there's so many brands out there that are maybe doing things similar to you, and that's okay. But you really need to do what's good, what's authentic to you and your brand. And that really is something that we continue to do so and will continue doing. And why we're very much Amla focused, Amla power brand, because that's what we're good at. That's what we know. That's what we know how to create really beneficial products. That will be result oriented and people will see the results. So we just are very much, this is what we're good at. This is what we know, and we want to deliver these products to the consumer.
Guys, you're going to have copious links to click on in the show notes. I'm so blown away connecting
Oh, I'm so
the
it's
destiny.
very humbling to hear
It's
that.
so beautiful. I get to, I feel very fortunate that I get to have a lot of these conversations with entrepreneurs. And it's funny, you don't think about these things for yourself,
Yeah.
but a stranger can just by asking questions be like, wait a minute, what? And then that, and then this, and then,
Yeah.
wait, what? Oh my God. Oh my God. Like,
I
it's
know.
just so beautiful to always, always, always in these heart centered movements, businesses, products, there's always a tie back to the child version of them
Mm-hmm.
who'd planted this seed so long ago, figuratively and literally for you, planted this seed
Yeah.
so long ago, and then for it to come just at the right moment that it's meant to because you've pulled everything else along the way to set you up for this. I would love to know, what were you doing career-wise before you started Asana Beauty? Because this is, guys, to import a product from anywhere, let alone then bottle it, label it, like you've got a full blown operation here. So,
It's a
did you
process, that's for
expertise
sure.
in this?
No,
Yeah, like,
no, 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 not at all. Actually, I just like you kind of learn. You have to learn. While you go through the process, right? Trust me, I had moments I was like, "Whoa, am I doing? But it's at the end, it's very rewarding. You just have to get back up and push, because that's what passion is, right? If you're passionate about something, you believe in something, you keep going and you keep going and you keep pushing. And that's exactly, what I did, what I'm doing. And I wake up every morning really feeling really lucky in so many ways. But before me starting Asna, I used to run a sales team. So I was in sales on the staffing side. So I was doing that for quite some time. And that was it's sales. It's fun. It's busy. You're front facing. It's very different from what I'm doing now, but it's definitely taught me a lot of skills for sure. I think corporate America, once you get that experience, especially being in New York City, it really teaches you a lot. It really does. And that experience have definitely helped me for what I'm doing now as an entrepreneur, for sure.
I love that. And it makes a lot of sense. You have a strategic brain already. I can tell like strategy is probably at the forefront of a lot of what you do. You think a lot. I can see it's all tables turning at all times. Was this change of pace for you one that you had to like kind of get used to, or I guess the pandemic probably like helped a little bit because we all had to slow down. But what has the pace of running a business been like compared to sales? Sales in general are crazy, but corporate sales are a whole nother
Yeah.
thing. So
There's no such thing as balance, I think, as a founder. When people talk about balance, and it's crazy because like I very much live a balance because I very much live Ayurveda. But in terms of balance, in terms of running a full business while you are actually working, it's like it's a lot. Like you really need to be that, you're the boss, right? You're the person that's running the brand, like while you are have a full-time job and have commitment. So you really need to figure out a way to make it work if you really want it to work. I think and that's what my mindset was. If I really want this to work, I need to figure it out. And if I need to stay up till 2 o'clock at night and wake up at 5 in the morning to get it done, I will. It just, you have to have determination. You need to have clarity. You need to have, strength. You need to have the drive to do so. But there's times that I'm just like going back to what I was saying, that I'm just like, oh my God, like, what am I thinking? But that's the process of being, a business owner, and a founder or CEO, whatever you want to call it, the term. And it's funny because when you hear other founders speak about it, when you're actually not in that place, you're like, oh, you kind of, okay, cool. But when you actually are in the place, you're like, I totally get it. I am with you, So, it's, it's a lot of work, but I think over time it gets easier because you learn. And you learn from your mistakes and you overcome them and you try not to repeat them. And I think another thing that's super important is you can't do everything yourself. You cannot, you need to really, really work and hire people that are skilled for that particular category they're good at. If they're good at that, you let them do that. That is your community, your team is so important. So important. And that's the driving force of you and your company, and for it to grow and for it to for it to become what you want it to be.
that is a mouthful of wisdom right there. Everyone listening, if you are in a phase of your business where you're wearing all of the hats, start working towards taking off one hat. Take off the hardest hat and give it to someone that's really good at it. And don't
Absolutely.
be nervous to have someone better than you at something on your team, because that is the true assertion of being an owner and a founder and an entrepreneur. Just know they're going to be smarter, younger people. They're going to do good stuff. They're going to do great work. And you're going to be so thankful for them. But at first it might feel a little ick. You're going to be like, but this is my company. It's like, yes, now you pay them to do it for you.
Yeah.
Major key.
And it's funny because like I also look at it, I'm like, I was that person at some point in my life, at a corporation, or when I was interning, or I was working for someone else. So you need to give people, a chance, because people gave me a chance, and that's why I've grown to who I am. And you need to really do the same for others. I really believe in giving back, and that's a big part of it. And that's a one way how I look at it. You know, it's so important, so important.
I love that. What does it feel like to be an employer for someone?
I guess, I don't look at it as being as an employer. I don't really have that mindset. I look at us as a community. I look at us as like we're together at it, because I've had bosses, right? I've had someone that I'm just like, oh, if I'm ever, I don't even call it a leader. I think a leader is a really good word. I don't want to be that person. I want to be a mentor. I want to be someone that we're working together to make this happen. And that's very much, my motto in so many ways. You have to, because people, your team is your identity. It's really a team effort. And if you're difficult, they're going to be as difficult, or they're not going to care enough. They need to care as much as you care. So it's very much a community-based, family, you could say.
That. And
Yeah.
that's the exact way it should be. I find more and more people 30 plus, the 30 to 50 age range in entrepreneurs right now it's a revolution to itself. There's so much change happening in the way that business is done and how we're structuring things and how we're delivering to the consumer and why we're doing what we're doing. Our why is now at the forefront of all the decisions that we're making. And I think it's just such a beautiful time for everyone to just throw their hat in the ring with their passion and their purpose and kind of show what they were put here to do. And I love so much, Monica, that this was your gift to give to the world. It's absolutely a conversation that has been extremely overdue in being had and had over and over and over again in the United States until everyone understands just the true power of what we have at our fingertips via natural, healthy remedies that existed for thousands of years. But I wonder if there's been a moment for you where you've been able to just kind of sit back and be really proud of yourself. Because this is such a beautiful dream to have had, and now to have actually created it. Like, have you been able to give yourself that moment of reflection and think about how proud you are of what you've done?
You know what? For me, I feel that way when people embrace my story, they embrace my product. And then also, just hearing the story really resonate with other people, that's success for me, right? Like people like really, really, touching it and feeling it and experiencing it and saying like things that what I've always believed and I've always felt, and then really resonating with that, excuse me. And then also one thing with Asna is like we give a portion of our proceeds to Cry America, which is like a nonprofit that basically focuses on different campaigns like child labor, like sex trafficking, like, child marriage. So it's like, I really think that's a big part of success for me and just really making a difference in people's lives. It's something that I was very much born and raised of the mindset that I've had. Like my parents I'm first generation here. My parents are immigrants. They worked really hard. They've always said be really humble and be very thankful and always give back when you can. And that is my purpose in so many ways. So I do sit back at times, and I am very thankful. I'm very blessed with what has come, but I do make sure that other people are very much a part of it as well. So yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
My final question for all of my guests is always this. Monica, how do you make your life rich?
How to make my love, happiness. I feel like we work hard for happiness supposedly, right? And we strive for love. And I think having both of those things work so much more hand in hand. And love could be with your friends, your colleagues, your parents, your partner. And happiness could be whatever makes you happy. You just need to be you. right? And you need to identify who you are and what your values are. So happiness and love is very much what makes me who I am in so many ways. Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. Monica, it
Yeah.
pours out of your soul. You were
Sweet.
so fun to speak with. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for not only bringing this product to the masses, but thank you also for sending this. I'm so excited to do my scalp treatment tonight.
Can't
Guys,
wait.
you're going to click the link in the show notes. I want you to literally run over to the Asna Beauty's website. It is stunning. Your website is,
Thank
I
you.
want to click on every page just to see what else is there because it's so beautiful.
Go right ahead. Do
You're
it.
going to it's very effective. I went through the entire thing like 4 times just to look at the pictures. It's so beautiful.
Oh,
But you're gonna go click on that link and you're gonna go set yourself up with some healthy and very deserving hair care that you must get your little hands on right now. So make sure you do that. Also, you want to follow on Instagram so you can be up to date with everything that they have going on and get to know their story a little deeper. Thank you so much for coming on, Monica. This was such a pleasure to learn more about you and Asma.
no, thank you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate it.
And you did amazingly for your first podcast, so high five
Oh,
to you.
oh, thank you. I'm just being honest. Thank you. That's sweet.
Okie doke, we're done.